come down in here to the feature scope and turn off auto select. I want to make sure that it only merges that because these two are touching. You know, it is possible that it'll merge that and all of these together. So rather than take the chance, I always just use the selected bodies and manually select what I want to connect. Alright, so now that looks a little bit better than just using that dome feature there. So you can see here our reflection comes across it quite nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And let's start thinking about these blades on here. So I think we'll probably just use 3 propeller blades. And what I want to do is I'm going to sketch on the right plane, and I'm just going to sketch. First thing I'm going to do is sketch a straight line. And I'm going to make that construction, and I'll show you why here in a second. So I'm drawing a spline here, and the spline is going to be the basis of our propeller. So I need a few more construction lines. Draw one there, and draw one over here. And that's so I can dimension these things here. So let's say 65 degrees. Let's give that 350. Now one thing I want to show you, if I select that handle, shift select this handle, I don't have an equal option here. It won't allow me to, make those the same dimension. So what I can do is I can right click on this dimension and use link values. And I'm going to say, call this prop dim. And you can see the little chain link icon comes up here. So now when I come in here and I dimension this, all I need to do is right click on that dimension, come down here to link values, and put prop dim in there. So you can see if I come in here and I say, well, 350 doesn't really work, 325, it's going to adjust both of those for me. Let's give this a dimension as well. Let's make that 250, and just for fun, now one thing you might notice is this is actually above center on the propeller, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to add another construction line, take it from the midpoint over here, and draw it over. And what I want to do is I'm just going to make these collinear. Alright, and I want to mirror that about our original line right there. Okay, I'm going to exit that sketch, and I actually, let's see how we want to do this. So we're probably going to need a few different cross sections in order to get this propeller to work out. But then there's a few ways that we can do that. Let's try this one way. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but we'll give it a shot. On the top plane, I'm going to start a sketch, and I'm going to project or use convert entities for that center construction line there. And what I want to do is draw a spline, and I'm going to give this the shape of the propeller from the top view. So you don't have to be real precise here. You can come back and you can tweak these a little bit and drag this down a bit. Alright, make sure that you make that a construction line down there. Alright, and from the front plane, I'm going to start a sketch, and I'm going to convert that. Let's look at this from the front view. Alright, make that a construction, and what I'm going to do to kind of make this easier to see is I'm going to draw some vertical construction lines from here. Now remember, this is where our propeller is centered at, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to see if it'll let me convert this, and it probably won't. No, of course not. And the reason is because it would just end up being a point. But one thing we can do is we can actually add a point, and we'll put that point and just shift select that, make that point coincident. Let's look at this from the front view. So now there's the point we added. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm going to take a spline out and I'm going to actually touch it to that line there. And just draw some curvature here and see what we get. This will probably become pretty obvious here in a second what we're doing. Alright, so I'm going to do the projected curve between that line we just drew and the spline from the top view, and OK that. Alright, so what we have here is, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but this is the base shape of our propeller, and this spline that we've created out in space here is the edge of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to do that again for this edge here, and what we're trying to accomplish is we're trying to get this thing to twist. So if you look at this thing from the side, you can see that curve kind of comes up here and twists to the top, and what we want to do is we want to draw this one here to come and twist to the bottom, so it'll allow our blade to twist out in space as we create it. So again, from the top view, come in, project that line, and make it construction just like we did. Now, and draw another spline, and I'm actually going to have it come fairly close to this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to convert this as well, make that construction. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because I want these 2 points here to be vertical with each other, so I know that they end in the same point in space. So let's go ahead and just tweak this around a little bit. Give it some pretty deep curvature. Now remember, we're not going to actually see the center here. We're going to trim it to where it hits our cone on the back here. So that looks decent amount of curvature, and until we actually make this thing a surface, it's going to not look very good. We might have a hard time visualizing what we're doing here, but don't worry about that. As soon as we create a surface out of this, we'll start to get a little bit better idea of what we're looking at. So same thing, I projected that, convert entities into my current sketch. I'm going to go ahead and do another sketch point, and really that's just to help me visualize things. So when you're looking at this from the front, you don't just have these grayed out sketch lines from another sketch. You can actually physically see the point there. Alright, so let's bring this out here, and I'm going to do the same thing again, a construction line vertically from down there, and the only reason I'm doing that is that it helps me visualize. Alright, so what I want to do is I'm going to make that go up a little bit there and twist down a little bit. Alright, I know I'm moving through this kind of fast, but I don't really know what this thing's going to look like, so I want to actually get these curves out and take a look at things. Alright, so there's not a whole lot of curvature going on here, but let's come in here to surfaces, and let's create a boundary surface. I'm going to start with that sketch, and direction 2, we can use that, and okay, I selected the wrong thing, and this, and just go ahead and OK that and see what we have.